Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. Friday morning. Friday Freakout, baby. Yeah. Whoa. I hope everybody had a nice 420 yesterday. Good times. Good times were had down at Young and Dundas Square by me yesterday. Pretty good crowd down there. Surprised not to see any vendors down there. I guess they couldn't get the licenses, but a good time. Met up with Stevie Roots down at Young and Dundas yesterday for that. Well, let's talk about something that I want to talk about today, and that is Joel Embiid. Yes, this is a topic that has to come up this week because he has to bring us up. Talking about Nick Nurse earlier this week, I wanted to spend more time on this, especially because of his antics last night in the game against Brooklyn. Joel, you are one of the biggest hypocrites in this whole entire league. You complain about the same things that you are very much guilty of within minutes of being guilty of it. You complain about people bitching about getting fouls. Well, you bitch about getting fouls. You complain about, dirtiness, and you're dirty as hell. It's like everything that you are like against, you are just as bad about. You get mad at people taunting you like Nicholas Claxton did last night after he dunked on your ass. And you taunt all over the place back and forth, like this 3-0 thing you're doing last night. Whatever, bro. In some ways, people are sick of you, man. Like, let me read some of the tweets about Joel Embiid today in relation to what happened last night and just him in general. This guy's saying his list of NBA players he dislikes is Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks, Joel Embiid, Rudy Gobert, and he will update his list as the playoffs go on. So, yeah, those are pretty good 4 villains for the league right now. Draymond, Dylan, Joel, and Rudy. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Here, this guy, Michael Resnick, is saying, it is an embarrassment to Adam Silver and the NBA that this ass, Joel Embiid, didn't get ejected. Anyone else would have. So it's okay to get kicked in the balls. He is going to win the MVP too. What an absolute embarrassment. Suspend him for the rest of the playoffs. I think that's a little heavy-handed, but listen, with the precedent of what happened with Draymond Green already this week, it seems like Joel does deserve to be suspended for the next game, at least for one. That kick to Nick Claxton's groin, in the words of Charles Barkley, was worse than what Draymond Green did. I mean, it really is. Now, the reason why it's worse is because of intent and because of unnecessariness and because of very much dangerous in some ways. So I'm going to be interested to see. They probably won't do anything to him. But honestly, NBA, I know this guy is probably going to be your MVP. Is this the guy you want to be the MVP of the NBA right now? He looks like an idiot. He looks immature. He looks like a big dummy. And he's not a good look for us in the league as far as saying this is our most valuable player. Is a big, ugly jerk who falls all over the place. They counted in the first half last night. The man hit the ground 18 times in the first half from flopping. This is not someone that we need to put on a pedestal and give awards to. I know like a week or two ago, I was saying Joel Embiid is the MVP, but it's amazing how bad he can look as a person with his behavior to turn me off from thinking that is a good thing. Like he really is got like the mental age of like a 12-year-old. Like he really does he's like a nanny boo-boo kind of idiot. That he's like with the taunting, the talking trash, the way he acts, the way he talks in the press conference. He's very arrogant. He thinks, yes, I should be the MVP. Yes, it should matter. He's really not somebody that should be celebrated in this league. And in some ways, I wish we could like change the MVP votes to Giannis at this point. In some ways, he's not even like played enough this season to really warrant that he's a good MVP. He's not played enough, in my opinion. I don't like this trend of players playing less and less to earn awards. I don't like this trend of, there was a stat I saw this week where they showed the average all-star in the NBA plays less minutes like in like the last 20 years. They showed like Kobe, and it was like they averaged this many minutes per game or this much time on the court. And then they showed LeBron in the graphic and it was like less. And now it's even less at this point. And they had a picture of Embiid. So yeah, it's all messed up. There's a lot of things messed up, and Embiid, in a lot of ways, epitomizes a lot of the worst problems with the NBA right now. Joel Embiid. So Adam Silver, you want to fix the NBA? Start looking at a player like Joel, and look at his personality defects, and look at what's wrong with him, and maybe like try and avoid awarding somebody like him, because he really shouldn't be awarded in some ways. Like in some ways, sure, I get the numbers, and sometimes he has really gaudy numbers, but also we've shown that you can shut him down. Sixers Nation calls us terrorists here in Canada, which Nick Nurse is the terrorist because he built the wall against Giannis and Embiid, and like they very much double and triple team Embiid and don't let him do anything. We cut his water off. That people have a problem with that. Well, Brooklyn is doing the same thing right now. They really concentrated on Embiid last night and didn't let him score. The other Sixers had to beat the Nets last night. And that's something that we do in our playbook. So everybody's saying, oh, the Nets are using Toronto's terrorism on us to hold Embiid down. You say like playing defense is terrorism at this point? Some fans are so messed up and crazy. It's a part of the game. You're supposed to play defense. The other player on the other team is the best player on the other team. Well, he needs to be shut down. And some teams are good at shutting people down. Some teams aren't. And the Raptors just happen to be one of those teams that are good at shutting somebody down. So they all call it terrorism. Oh, the terrorism of the Raptors and their schemes that stop their star from scoring. It's fucking basketball. That's what you're supposed to do. Play defense and stop them, you idiots. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat so far this morning. Raptors superfan Monique Lawrence, the greatest in the house. First comment. Is it 11 o'clock yet? Hello, Masai. Happy to see you. Good morning, everyone. Fred finally updated his Instagram about the season. Let's continue to get better. And Scotty is officially traveling. All right, Monique with the itinerary. Once again, giving me the big cue card of everything I was going to talk about already, but she puts it all in one comment here. All right, let me see. Yes, Masai Ujiri is speaking today at 11 o'clock sharp. We finally know exactly when he's going to be coming to talk to us about the season. There's nothing announced by Nick Nurse yet. So that I don't think he's going to announce that today. I don't know. He could, though. He could really come up there and come in with a ball of steam and say something like, we are relieving Nick Nurse of his duties today. That is possible. We'll have to see. There's a really cool tweet on Twitter. It has a bingo card, a Masai Ujiri press conference bingo card. And I think that it's something that Raptor fans can probably play. It's pretty fun. There's like statements in each of the squares. And if you can get all the squares to say, these are the statements: winning, win in Toronto, cannot comment, lacked focus, we want everyone back to winning, winning culture, Raptors way, thank our teams, hard work, young core, believe, return to winning, evaluating the team, Nick Nurse is a winner, all we care about. So when he says those statements, you can mark the bingo off. So if you want a Masai Ujiri press conference bingo card for fun, you can find it on Twitter. If you search for Masai Ujiri's name, it'll be one of the first things that pop up. So if you're interested in playing some Masai bingo at 11 o'clock when he speaks, we'll have to see what he has to say. Maybe he was waiting for the new moon. Maybe he was waiting for Eid. Maybe he was waiting for this exact moment today. There is some dumb speculation today that what Wizards are trying to talk to him and get him to come down there for the void that they just opened up by firing their GM this week. Stop doing this, Wizards. He does not want to come to Washington. He has nothing to do with y'all. Y'all are thirsting. It's just like he said last summer. Y'all can dream. We dream of Messi. We dream of Kobe. Well, you can dream of Masai down there, Washington Wizards Nation. He ain't going down there, man. The man's got a fat contract here in Toronto, and this is his home. This is where he wants to be. Trust me. Why the hell would he want to go to Washington? Your dumpster fire team and all the crap going on down there. You guys are just stringing together pipe dream and fantasy when you talk about Masai Ujiri and the Washington Wizards franchise. You did it before 7 years ago. Michael Grange even wrote a piece about it here in Toronto and pissed everybody off. And we saw where that came true with that. Yeah. You think you're going to get him now when he's got an even better contract here and stuff like part ownership. Yeah, he's not coming down to y'all. He's got a sweet deal up here, and he loves being a Toronto Raptor. So keep dreaming, Wizards. Keep dreaming. All right, let's keep going with the comments. Also, Monique talking about Fred, thanking everybody for the end of the season on his Instagram. There's a nice post with some pictures talking about year 7 in the books. And then also Chris doing a year-end post on his Instagram. Also, Chris Boucher, year 6 in the books. I like these posts because they sometimes take pictures from throughout the season and kind of show their NBA lives off in these kind of posts. So you go, Chris Boucher and Fred VanVleet, with your end of the season posts. I love seeing the pictures. And then finally, yes, on Instagram yesterday, Scotty Barnes getting on a plane, a private plane, with his dog Cardi. Cardi is looking very, very large. Very, very large. Like when we saw Cardi first last year, Cardi was like this big, little bitty dog just scampering around Scotty's house, tearing up his floor. Well, Cardi's big now. Scotty's got a full Roddy there now with him. And the fun thing is that Cardi gets to travel with him. Cardi getting on the plane, I'm guessing, to go back to Florida. So he's bringing his dog back home so all of his family can meet the dog. I'm sure that that's a fun time. People can meet Cardi. Cardi, the Canadian dog that Scotty owns up here. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Scotty's on the move down to Palm Beach. And he's going to be down there with family for the next few days. At least we do Scotty tracking. We can see where he is sometimes from Twitch and his social medias, and we know where he is in the country or out of the country or where in the world. Where in the world is Scotty Barnes? That's what we play sometimes in the summer. And we know he's on a plane, and I'm going to guess he's in Florida right now. Let's see. Monique's also saying Joel Embiid will forever be butthurt, and his comments will forever be in his head. Yeah, he's that meme will never go away. That crying meme of him running through the Scotiabank Arena, fantastic stuff. When that happened, I actually felt sorry for him. And in some ways, I feel bad that I felt sorry for him. In fact, he deserves that meme. He deserves to have the crying meme forever just because of who he is now. It's like it really is like this guy has an arrested development. That a psychologist could talk to him and find out, when did you stop aging mentally? Like, seriously, Joel, we want to sit down and do an evaluation. Did you stop aging at 8 or at 9? Because it seems like your mental age is around 8 or 9, and that you really are still kind of trapped at that age, like with your maturity. So we're wondering, Joel, what happened to you around the age around 8 or 9 that stunted your growth and totally stopped your mentality growing to maturity as far as being an adult and acting like somebody who carries themselves in adult ways. In some ways, he's not very self-aware about how hypocritical he is. Also, it's like, don't do as I say, but don't do as I do, but do as I say. Don't bitch about fouls. Don't flop all over the place. Don't be a dirty artist, but don't do it because I'm doing it. You can't do it too. It's kind of how Joel is. He's really kind of despicable in a lot of ways. And it's funny because he is hated pretty universally around the league by most people. It's very much, a lot of the fans do not like Joel. They think he's like a goon. He's a big baby. Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem. I Poke Bears Thomas. What a great new nickname. I love it. Go Dylan Brooks. Get some revenge for LeBronto. That's right. That's what Dylan Brooks is doing. Y'all know this. He was a kid in Mississauga during the LeBronto years. And in some ways, his vendetta against LeBron is about LeBronto. So you go 905, Dylan Brooks, and you mess up some LeBronto in the first round, put the Lakers out, even without Ja Morant. Woo, you go Grizz. I'm all about the Grizzlies and beating the Lakers. You go. Do it. All right, Kareem's saying, fuck Joel Embiid and his stupid antics. They suspended the wrong Sixer last night. Yeah, they kicked out James Harden for a punch to the nuts. It wasn't really that bad, actually. It was incidental contact in some ways, but there was a little bit of an extra movement in James's arm that looked a little extra, and that's why they did it. They threw him out, and that was interesting that they tossed James at that point. Well, that didn't matter. Philadelphia still won the game, overcoming all that. Really was Maxey kind of powering the team for most of the game. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if that warrants getting kicked out, and they didn't kick out Embiid for the kick to Nicholas Claxton, there's something weird right now. Like, a lot of Warriors fans are going to be watching this because they want to see Joel get suspended just like Draymond did. Now, if they say something stupid like, "Well, it's his kind of his reputation before." Well, Joel has kind of a reputation too, NBA. But in some ways, you've anointed him a nice golden boy instead of the villain he truly is, because you want to make him the poster boy and the MVP. In some ways, they have to balance that. They're going to be like, well, we're going to make him the MVP. Can we suspend him for a game against Brooklyn coming up? And like, I don't know. They may think in dumb ways like that, and they'll poo-poo it and go past it. But it very much is true. That kick to Claxton looks so much worse in some ways than Draymond's thing, than James Harden hitting Cam Johnson in the nuts. It all looks way worse than that. Was it Cam or Mikhail? It was one of those two guys. Yeah, this is messed up. Let's see. Smooth's here. Good to see Smooth Brown Man. Good morning. I've been watching the streams, but have not been commenting the last little while. There's no way the front office brings back Nick Nurse, is there? I really hope he's gone. There is a little bit of a way that he can still be brought back, but we'll find out very soon. Smooth, I think that today at 11, when we hear Masai speak, he's going to give us some really good tells about what we're doing with our coach. So we're going to have to watch him very carefully and see what he says. Now, if he starts saying, I'm not going to comment on our coaching situation, well, we may not get the answer today. I don't know exactly what Masai is going to say today. So we're going to have to see. This is going to be very interesting. I almost wanted to wait and do the stream at 11 while it was going on live, but I didn't want y'all to pick and choose between the two. So this is really just a pregame press conference thing for the game today. Not the game, the press conference today. Kind of doing some pregame for it. Talk and speculate about what Masai is going to say. What do y'all think Masai is going to say today? Let's do some predictions in the chat. If you guys think Nameless saying, welcome, bam, rough brown man. No, that's smooth brown man. That's the smoothest of the smooth. That's smooth, baby. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. We got Masai at 11 in the morning. Very excited. Yes, we're all waiting to hear from our dear leader, Masai Ujiri. He gives us direction. He gives us hope. He gives us the feeling that somebody very smart and capable is running this team. Somebody that is very much, engaged and cares very passionately about bringing Larry O'Brien's to Toronto. So whenever we hear Masai speak, it's always a little bit like calming and makes you feel like, yeah, I feel proud of Raptors Nation and we're ready to get back at it and do good, great, successful things going forward. And I'm all about it too, Cool Cat. It is something, it's a boost. It's a boost when you get to hear Masai speak. Nako's here. Good to see you, Gerald. Gerald, I still hope you'll come by and hang out with me in the morning for one of these streams. If you can get here early enough, Gerald, you have an open invite to be a guest on this show any single day, Nako the Nachos. So if you can get here one morning, you do it. I know you talked about it before. Let's see what he's saying. I'm hoping Masai talks about some sort of change. I don't think there's any player that complains more than Embiid. I know that's the craziest thing about it. He's complaining about other people complaining, whereas he complains so much himself. It's crazy. They're so entitled, some of the superstars in this league. Give me free throws. I should have been fouled. I should have been fouled. Oh, he hurt me. I fell on the ground. Well, you fell on your own. In fact, there's a reel of all of your like fake ass flopping all over the place. You could really see how much you embellish. I mean, seriously, Embiid, in some ways right now, you are Shaq. You're the strongest, biggest guy in the league, and you act like you're such a pushover. It's like people push you around like you're a little skinny man. It's like you're not holding your weight, and it's really kind of like disgusting. To people, we see it, and we're just like, what a flop artist. Like, seriously, use your strength. Stand your ground instead of being such a floppity fish on the pier. Flop, 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 floppy joes, flopping all over the place. Yeah, we cannot respect you because you're not easy to respect. In some ways, you're very like despicable in some ways. It's crazy. Randolph Phillips is here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Good morning, beloved Raptor freaks and most informative gang. Blessings on you and all of your loved ones. It's time to clean up the NBA. Stiffer players, no excuses for dirty plays and players. Yeah, stiffer penalties. I think that's what Randolph was trying to say. I'm all about this. And I want them to do more things like what they did with Draymond because it sends the right message. There's a lot of dirty stuff, undercutting, really weird charges. The charge, in some ways, maybe does need to go away. There's a big push for getting rid of that. And then just all the extracurriculars, just all the dumb stuff, the taunting, the trash talking. Some of it has gotten a little out of hand. And some of the stuff between the crowd and the players is not good either. So there are certain things that Adam Silver really does maybe need to think about this summer and the trends and the way things are going towards with fan and player interaction. There aren't necessarily good and different things like feuds and different like things like fighting and dirty plays on the court. So maybe Adam Silver will have some ideas this summer on how he's going to change the game some more this summer for next year. I would really like to see some of the rules relaxed so that we could have defense back. I feel like they overstepped with allowing offense to be too strong, and that they need to go back a little bit and help the defense be a little bit more, have more powers once again. I feel like that's the biggest problem. Fact, fun guy saying facts. Facts, baby. That's right. Peter D is here. Good morning, Peter D. Give it up, freak. Raptors are done. Go get yourself a real job. Oh, Peter D. I have a real job. I just do this in my free time. All right, man. You know what? You're gonna just go ahead and go away. That's a very bad ingratiation. So yeah, we don't need you here. I'm not about numbers. I'm about quality, baby, and not about the quantity. And you are not quality, brother. You can go. G saying Claxton was owning Embiid and he got ejected for flexing. Yes, it was his second technical, but how was Embiid able to kick someone like that? His style is so hard to watch. Talented, but very immature. Yes, yes, and yes. In some ways, that's like, I have no problem with Nicholas Claxton doing what he did. He made a dunk on the possible MVP for the season. And, there's people that taunt a little bit all the time. And it wasn't even really that bad of a taunt. So, in some ways, I don't agree with them throwing Claxton out for a tech on that. In some ways, that trash talk between Caitlin Cooper and Angel Reese was very much like come down on. And like, but look, this is part of the game. There's a little bit of all that kind of stuff. And, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, you don't want to take that away, especially when it's not hurting anybody or anything like that. The trash talk is important. Now, are you going to do that just because it's Joel Embiid, protect him? See, I had no problem with what Nick Claxton did, and I didn't think it was fair that he got kicked out when he got kicked in the balls earlier in the game. So I'm totally with G on this. It is crazy. Yeah, he's also saying was able to, his style is so hard to watch. Yeah, he's not fun to watch. It's not pretty. It's not enjoyable. It's not entertaining. It's ugly. It's ugly ass basketball. It's fake ass basketball. It's pretender ass basketball. And in some ways, Joel's legacy may have a lot of good stats, but people are going to forget about him because he's not loved. That's the thing. That's the thing he's going to find out down the road is he'll become a forgotten good NBA player because the majority of people don't celebrate him because he's not somebody to be celebrated. There's a thing about Bird and Magic and Michael that's to celebrate, but there's not really anything that in general the NBA people across the NBA will want to celebrate about Embiid. In fact, he's going to be a footnote and we're going to forget about him because we don't like him. Well, he's ugly basketball and people will forget him in the long scheme of time, especially if he never wins anything, which he probably won't, to tell you the truth. So this is where I'm at with him at this point. He's going to be a footnote at some point just because he hasn't ingratiated himself to the general NBA fan. In fact, most people hate him and wish he'd just go away. So he's going to be the kind of person that we're going to forget about in like 40, 50 years. Watch. Kareem saying, how many times is Masai going to say win in his morning presser? My guess is 15 plus. I want to take 50 over 50. Yeah, seriously, I'm really going to count. I will do this count. We'll count this. We'll see what stats we get, Kareem. So we got to count how many times Masai says win today in his press conference, y'all. and we'll come back with a stat tomorrow. Isaac saying it was barely a flex, more passion for a good basketball play by Claxton. Terrible, terrible call. Exactly. I mean, he's working so hard against a guy who weighs more than him. In some ways, it's an accomplishment that he's holding his own just a little bit against him. So I wouldn't put that against Nicholas Claxton. In some ways, I very much admire him going into the fight with Joel in this way. Random Gamer saying, "Man, the hostility today." I know we have good faith with you guys usually, but he had shots fired on our coach for no reason this week. So this is really a verbal retaliation, Random Gamer, for just naming our coach in a press conference for no reason. He really didn't need to. And in fact, let me talk about this for a second. The fact that he put Nick Nurse's name in the interview really betrays something about Joel, that Nick does live rent free in his head. That it's like, look, he doesn't have to be thinking about Nick Nurse. He could have said anything else. And he's comparing him, Jack Vaughn, to Nick Nurse because they play good defensive schemes against him, because they hold him back, because they make it harder for him to do what he wants to do on the court. It really does show that it's a weakness for Joel that he calls out Nick Nurse like this. He is in his head and he thinks about him when he doesn't even need to think about him. See, that's the thing. It betrays you, Joel, that you mentioned him the other day. It betrays you. It doesn't make you look good by calling him out. You think you make it sound like, oh, you're calling Nick Nurse and making him more sound like a bitch or something because he whines. No. You sound bad because you're whining about somebody who's not even in the playoffs right now, somebody who shouldn't even matter. And you kind of bring him out and put him publicly on blast again. Yeah, this is really about this, Random Gamer, is I wouldn't talk about Joel Embiid today if it wasn't that he put our coach's name in his words the other day. So that's really what it is. Click saying Masai Presser today. Time to make some popcorn. You go, Click. Get you that TGIF popcorn. Get it ready for about an hour from now. He will be speaking at 11 a.m. It is 10 a.m. right now on Friday morning. And be ready for some Masai magic. Yeah, I'm all about it. Tom Duke is here. Good to see Tom Duke return to the channel. I know, Tommy, you needed a couple of days off. I understand. I expect everybody. Listen, I'm crazy. The fact that I do this live stream every single morning at 9:30 is a very much a responsibility and a duty, and it's fun. I enjoy doing it. That's why I do it. But it can be very taxing, and discipline is needed to continue to do it and not miss them. But I am so happy to see Tom back. And listen, once again, anybody doesn't want to watch the channel for a little while because there's too much and over again, take a break and come back. I know you guys will come back. And I appreciate you, Tom, and love you, brother. Happy Friday. Go Raptors. Hope Masai's as blunt as possible and necessary. Yeah, maybe he needs to say some things that the players and people on the Raptors may not necessarily want to hear. And I'm here for it. We need to hear this. In fact, that is the main thing we want to get from Masai is direction. And what he needs to do is he needs to paint a new picture of the direction we're going to go in this summer, and maybe just a little bit of words, but then there'll be actions in the months to follow that, something that'll bring positivity and hope back to Raptors Nation after this mid-season. The more I look at the stats for the season, the more I look at what happened with us this season, it isn't as bad as everybody thinks. We really did have some bad breaks, bad luck on 50-50 balls and all kinds of stuff. And our record isn't that horrible considering the whole thing that we went through this season. A lot of fans will have perceptions and be like this and this and this. In some ways, I really do feel like this past season was a success, despite what everybody else thinks. Sure, the postseason wasn't. It was an absolute failure. But in some ways, the season, in a weird, on a down low kind of way, is going to be a success in the long run. Watch. Because in some ways, this was the hard one step back, 2 steps forward kind of thing. Well, the 2 steps forward are going to be coming this season coming up. Trust me. All right, let's see. Naka's also saying, watching Memphis versus the Lakers, Memphis seems to practice real good help defense. We should take notes. Yeah, I mean, our help defense is pretty good. The cool, interesting thing about that series and that game last night is Memphis won against the Lakers without Ja Morant. And some people are saying that the Memphis team is actually better without him in some ways because they tighten up in certain ways on defense and playing together as a team. And they're not as reliant on Morant to carry them offensively, so that they get really good balance. That's one thing that was the difference between the Grizzlies and the Lakers last night is the balance that you get a lot of guys all contributing, like 5, 6, 7 of them. And meanwhile, the Lakers have like LeBron and one other guy doing something for them. Well, that will beat the other team because this is a team sport. You need as much of your team going in full effect. And the Grizzlies really found that against the Lakers in the last game that they had. You go Grizz. I'd love to see y'all put them out. Put out the Lakers, baby. Yes, do it, please. Click is saying Nick Nurse just got fired per Shams. Is that for real? I'm going to have to look at that. That would make sense right now. Let me go see what Shams is saying since Click has brought it up. We'll see if Shams is right. Oh wow, he is right. Click has just broke the news 22 minutes ago. The Toronto Raptors have fired Nick Nurse. Sources are saying The Athletic. So there you go. There's the news we were waiting for. Nick Nurse has been fired by the Toronto Raptors, and Masai will make it official in about an hour, exactly an hour from now. So this is actually very interesting. Thank you, Click, for giving us the heads up. Shams bomb, bam, bam, 22 minutes ago. Nick Nurse fired by the Toronto Raptors apparently this morning. So we'll have to see. This is very promising. This is very, very promising. This is what we kind of expected. I figured he would fire him before he come and speak. Well, he did. He fired him 90 minutes before he's going to come and speak. So wow, Click with the Shams bomb. Good job, Click, with the breaking news. I appreciate it. All right, Fiercey saying, good morning, fam. Looking forward to hearing Masai. Serious question. Why does Embiid keep hitting the ground when he plays? Scotty's taking good care of Cardi. I know. Fiercey, aren't you so proud as Scotty Barnes Twitch family to see that dog, how much it's grown and how healthy that dog looks? It feels like Cardi is like our friend because we saw Cardi when Cardi was so little and little baby puppy. And now Cardi's getting all grown up. It's so, so cute. Wow. Well, we got the big deal. I'm still reeling from it. Nick Nurse fired as our coach just now, y'all. So, Houston, you guys got a chance. Houston, you don't have a problem anymore. You might be getting your coach very soon. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Messiah has to say about this latest development. G's saying, no way, Nurse is fired. Nick Nurse is fired. That's right. It's on the news. It's true. We just broke it here on the stream. Click. Thank you. And yeah, it's for real. It is for real. This is not a drill. This is serious. Nick Nurse has been fired as the Toronto Raptors head coach. It's sad in some ways. It's a very sad moment in some ways, but it is also what is necessary to go forward for the future. Let's see. MSJ saying Joel will likely never win the chip. Somehow he doesn't deserve it at all. And yeah, age 10. So you're giving him a couple more years than I am. He's about the maturity of a 10-year-old as far as just his mentality. And I don't even think he's like smart enough to understand he comes off it like a kid. He's such a big dude. He's like, but he's like very much like a child. Ahmet saying, no way Nick got fired. Emme Udoka is going to become a Toronto man. Joe and Bozo. Ahmet the GOAT. You're being the GOAT right there. Joel and Bozo. I like that. Yeah. So Nick got fired. Ahmet's very excited with all caps. And Nick, he's saying that Emme Udoka is going to be our Toronto coach next. Wow, Ahmet. Wow. All right, let's see. Country Kong saying, GM, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lex, I enjoyed watching Scotty's Twitch streams last summer, but I think our disappointing season caused many to question his summer work ethic. Do you think he'll ever stream again? This is a great question, Country Kong. And we have really speculated about this a bit. I think he would have continued streaming during the season if he was going to continue doing Twitch at all. I think that we were just in this lucky little sweet spot of Scotty Barnes' development in his life and maturity that he decided last year during the very beginning of the season that Twitch was he doesn't want to do it anymore. In some ways, I really think it's like symbolic of how some of the players have to dial back their social media presence because of the toxicness of fans. That from being in that stream last year, Country Kong, that we would see toxic fans in there saying stuff, and Scotty would ignore it. There would be a lot of dumb stuff written in there. In fact, maybe some of the mods would throw these people out. But in some ways, it's different now with the betting. The issues with the betting probably make it even worse because, he could be on there playing Call of Duty or 2K, and a bunch of fans, or like not fans, but bettors, may get on there and harass him because he didn't make a certain stat line to help them win their bet. So there's a whole kind of toxicness around interacting with us at this point that probably doesn't make it very attractive to Scotty to be on Twitch with us. I know he still plays like crazy. He is still on his video games, and he there was a moment where Lloyd went on live and he was going to show him playing with Scotty, but I think that Scotty told him or something, oh, you're on Twitch, you're showing people I'm on here, no, get off. And he came off right away, like maybe he was on for 5 minutes, but he was said in his heading, Lloyd said 2K23 stream with special guest, and I know that means Scotty because that's who he plays with. So, I don't think he's going to be back this summer. And it may be because he's matured as a person. And also, like he said, he wants to get more dedicated to his conditioning this summer. So he's going to be extra. Fred said he should be a gym rat. So I think that's what he's going to do. He's listening to his old head vet, Fred Van Vliet. Scotty's going to go to the gym and be in the gym way more this year. In fact, there's pictures of him at a pro-am already this summer, playing in a pro-am with other people already this summer. So that's fantastic. We want to see Scotty out there playing as much as possible, practicing as much as possible, working out as much as possible. And if he's not on Friday the 13th or Fall Guys or, reacting to videos on Twitch, that may be not a bad thing. If he does get on there, though, we'll have to watch. He may get bored at some point and be like, hey, I want to come and see my Twitch family all of a sudden. So there is still like a Scotty Barnes Twitch watch. And I know that Tom Duke and a couple other people on here will be helping me to watch because, in some ways you don't want to miss out if he's going to be on there just for a second. We're going to have to be on there real quick to see him. But yeah, I don't know if he'll stream ever again. We don't know. In some ways, he stripped his Twitch account. There's no old videos and there's nothing on there really like showing that he's actually coming to it anymore and interacting with it. So I don't think he will. In fact, I was wondering about his YouTube channels too. I want him to drop more content, but at a certain point, I guess Max just got so busy with school that he just could not be around Scotty. And maybe he was too slow on editing and getting things together to put it up. And they just couldn't get a schedule or a rhythm of putting content out on his YouTube channels. Well, maybe something will change. Maybe he will decide to come back to Twitch purely because he wants to produce content for his YouTube channel on Twitch, similar to Terrence Ross. Now, Scotty did interact with Terrence Ross a lot last summer, as far as like they even played each other on their Twitch streams. And Terrence is really big on the Twitch. Like he's very much a very famous Twitch streamer. And Scotty, if he wants to be more like Terrence, he may get into it that way. I know he really enjoys it, but there are things about it he doesn't enjoy. And I think that the things he didn't enjoy about it outweighed the things he enjoyed it by the end of the time when he quit. So I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now, don't hold your breath. I don't think he will be back to Twitch this summer. Nako's saying Sham's tweet is legit. Yeah, it is legit. I went and looked, even though they don't have the stupid little blue check marks because of dumbass Elon Musk, that's legitimately Shams. And that is legitimately a tweet from him saying that Nick Nurse is fired. So it is official. It is true. Nick Nurse is fired as the Toronto Raptors head coach. It's a bittersweet day. In fact, in some ways, I want to honor him and say the good things about him instead of the bad things, because I know so many people today are going to say awful things about Nick Nurse. Good riddance. And I said, well, we need to remember the good things that he did for us too. That is important. Escobar Cruz is laughing about it and crying. He's laughing to the point that he's crying. Click saying, not surprised. Nick can't develop players for shit. And that's what we need. I can't disagree with Click on this one at all. He did not do a good job developing the Toronto Raptors for the last 3 years. And, he's really done a poor job of managing his starters' minutes. There's quite a few little, different critiques we can make of him that have been bad. All right, David's here. Good to see David Saborn. Oh, if we're going to be piling on Joel Embiid today, we know David's coming in. He's going to come in like King Kong Bundy with a big splash on Joel Embiid real quick. This is what David has to say about Joel. He's a dirty, cheap, fake-ass basketball player. Not a good person. Give me the keys to the dump truck. I'll do it. What does that mean, David? That's crazy. David saying, click, Nick Nurse got fired. Yes, David. He did get fired. He got fired this morning. They fired him. It's on Sportsnet. Fiercely saying, "Oh my God, the Raptors fired Nick Nurse." That's right. Nako saying, "Once the stars align, I'll definitely drop by." Awesome. It may be easier in the summer. If you come by on a Saturday morning, Nako, that may be good. We'll do a share the love club with Nako the Nacho in person. Maybe I'll interview you on the channel, and we can talk about your comedy career, Mr. Nako the Nacho. So, we'll figure that out. David's going, wow, that's right. We got breaking news this morning. And sometimes this happens. I come in earlier this year and we've got Jakob Pertl on our team all of a sudden. We find it out on the stream. Well, we're finding out today that our coach is fired. This is a very, very interesting change. Changes. MSJ saying, I think Joel's near stalking of Rihanna told me that. Huh? This guy's a weirdo. He was stalking Rihanna, and she's like, "Get away from me, Joel." Denial. Most saying, Earl Watson, I'm calling for you. I think I'm on the same page with Monique, the super fan, Lawrence, that I love the idea of Earl Watson, a younger coach, a hipper coach, a player's coach, a coach that is very much known for mentoring younger players in his NBA career as a player. Dame Lillard says that Earl Watson is his vet, the one that taught him how to be a pro from when he started. This sounds exactly like the kind of coach you want in the NBA today. A guy that can relate to players because he was a player for many, many years. A guy that can relate to players as young players and what they want and they're looking for with his best buddy, Rico Hines, next to him. They can really relate to young guys, but Earl Watson is also an old head from the old school that understands the important things about the old NBA that are getting lost right now. So it sounds like a perfect hybrid of like old vets knowledge and knowing how the old NBA would be and how the youngsters are developing and changing the game today. You want somebody like Earl Watson. So Masai, if you're announcing the new head coach today, I hope you're saying Earl Watson. Now, if you say Adrian Griffin, I won't be upset either. He's a great choice also. But in some ways, to me, he seems like that old school kind of guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to bet you money that Adrian Griffin will be the coach of the Detroit Pistons next year under Coach Casey as the GM, assistant GM. Because you got to remember, Griffin comes from Dallas. That old team with Rick Carlisle and Adrian Griffin was one of the coaches on the Dallas championship team with Dwayne Casey. So Casey and Griffin are close and know each other. And it could very well be that Coach Casey's telling the Detroit Pistons franchise to hire Adrian Griffin as the next coach of the Pistons next season. So I'm predicting that we will have 3 of our coaches from this year will be coaching in 3 different places. As far as Griffin will be with Detroit, Nick will be with Houston, and we will have Earl Watson coaching our team this year. That's what I'm hoping will happen. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see how close I am on those predictions. We'll have to see. Marlon Toby saying, Woj bomb, Nurse is gone. There we go. We got Marlon dropping the Woj bomb in here. We got the Shams bomb, the Woj bomb. Thank you, Marlon, for coming in. Let us know. Good to see great Raptor freak Marlon Toby. David saying probably didn't help that Cam Johnson was posterizing the most valuable player left, right, and center. Yeah, those were nice dunks. Ooh, he threw it down on him. Nice on Joel. It was pretty. You go Nets. You guys are badasses. In some ways, I really like the Brooklyn Nets right now. Tom Duke is going, boom, explosion. Who is our new next coach? Woohoo! Tom Duke. Changes, turn and face the strange. The changes. David saying, Tom, my man, what's good? Yeah, it's good to see Tom Duke. Country Kong saying, wow, I expected us to move off Nurse, but somehow I wasn't ready to read that headline. I know, I'm a little shook by it too. Y'all are seeing my live reaction. In some ways, I might shed a tear for Nick today, just because I do get emotionally attached to our people. And Nick Nurse has definitely been one of the greatest Raptors coaches in all-time history. It really is him and Casey, the guys I hold at the highest esteem for our team as far as head coaches. And he is an important part of our history and always will be. I don't want people to sully his name. I don't want people to put him down today in Raptors Nation. We need to honor him and speak highly of him. It's just his time with us has passed. and that we've made a tough decision. Obviously, Masai Ujiri has made one. He's going to tell us about why. And I got to get off the stream in the next 45 minutes so we can all watch him live without me being on also. All right, let me see what else he's saying. Tough to see members of the championship team go, but at least it's encouraging to see Masai willing to make moves. Yeah. Click wants a Doka, and David wants a Doka too. MSJ saying, bye, Nick Nurse. Good times. Yes, the bad, but we need an offense. You lost the players along the way, I guess. I will always remember the Drake massage, but I will always give Lowry the coaching credit. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go like a little bit. This is like kind of like sliding Nick in some of the ways you're saying this. I don't think he actually lost the players. The way the players talked at the end of the year, they were all saying that they love him. They were still playing hard for him. So I don't even think it's that. And that may be part of the problem is that he didn't lose the players and he still didn't perform to the right level. And that's why we needed to make a change. Yeah, the Drake massage was funny. Yeah, and I understand why you keep saying Lowry was the coach for our championship. Sugar Ray's here. Why did they fire Nick Nurse? I don't understand. Well, Sugar Ray, Nick Nurse's system is not good for our players and our makeup right now. Nick Nurse is a great coach for veterans players that know what they're doing. Because in some ways, Nick Nurse does this. And this is what he did when we won the championship. He says, Kawhi, Mark Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Kyle Lowry, you guys are so good. You go do your thing out there. And I'll give you all the freedom in the world to do whatever you want. Well, that's kind of the way he's always coached, is he gives players freedom. Well, when he has a younger team, like the makeup of our team right now, he can't just give carte blanche freedom to the players because they'll make a lot of mistakes and it won't add up to winning basketball. So much like Fred VanVleet said in his exit interview at the end of the season, this team needs structure. And in some ways, Nick Nurse is failing at giving them structure to get them to succeed. So hopefully we'll have a much more structured coach that understands how to coach younger players and develop them and give guys more chances. If anything, Nick really didn't use his bench correctly for a few years now. That was probably ultimately the reason for his ending of being the coach of the Raptors. That he did not develop Delano Banton, Christian Coloco, and some of the younger players on this team fast enough or well enough by integrating them with the starters in a correct way this season. So that's a bit of the gist of why. Much like how Casey became the coach that wasn't going to get us any further in the playoffs, and we found out the limits of what he could do, we found the limits of what Nick can do at this point. And he's not a good development coach. He's a great veteran coach, but not good for a young team that's trying to learn and get better in a way like Casey would be a great coach for us right now. Seriously, Coach Casey would be perfect to come back to us at this point in the situation we are with our personnel. So that is in the gist of it. David's saying probably because this year was a goddamn disaster. Jeez, David. Wanted a big, got a big. Wanted a bench shooter, got a bench shooter. Sometimes good things come to an end. Yeah, sometimes things just run their course. Think about it. He had 5 years with our team. That's very successful. He won a championship in his first year as an NBA coach. He had very good success while he was our coach. He saw us through some of the most difficult years of our franchise history, and he really did a good job overall. I think that if people are going to say that Nick Nurse was a failure as a coach, you're really misspeaking because that is not the truth. Nick Nurse was a hugely successful coach for the Toronto Raptors, and he always will be. And that's something that in some ways the Raptor Freak cult needs to protect him and his legacy. This isn't the time just because he's leaving is to dump on him. In fact, it's much better look for Raptors Nation to celebrate him, speak him up, and make him sound really awesome than to like point out all of his faults and just come at him and say, oh, we were glad you're gone. Yeah, let's not be like that. Let's be honorable and show that we really do appreciate all the hard work and the time spent by Nick Nurse to push the Raptors into the win column as much as possible. Because that's really the truth of it is. Some people are going to come at him and be little stupid, little immature idiots and make fun of him and talk trash about him on Twitter and different places today. Yeah, well, let's not be like them. That shows the maturity level of Joel Embiid when you do that kind of stuff. Let's keep going. Shere Khan's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year, Shere Khan. Happy Friday to all. People forget that Shaq did some silly stuff and got texts back in the day, but we loved his antics anyway, mostly because he was self-deprecating and wasn't too full of himself. Well, Shaq was different as a big guy, the huge guy in the league. You know, he never really tried to hurt anyone. He wasn't flopping in a dangerous way. Like, he could be dangerous. If he was falling down, it could be very dangerous if he fell on you a certain way. But for the most part, he wasn't hitting the ground in dirty, weird, unnatural ways. And he was very careful about smacking people with his arms. He didn't have to move his arms very much, and he could really hurt someone. So you never see Shaq lash out like this or kick. And that's the difference. He was a gentle giant who had very strong strength, and it was felt around the league, trust me. But if he really put force behind it, like anger, that would have been disastrous if Shaq actually tried to hit or kick somebody. So that's what I'm saying. In some ways, that's the difference between Joel and Shaquille. Is that Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. Imagine if we got Brogdon, who was named Sixth Man of the Year. Fuck all that. He wouldn't have got it on our team. You know, it's just a fit. Once again, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't like covet the things that the Celtics have. He fucking want to go to Boston. You go to fucking Boston. In some ways, there's just a Golden Boy award for a Golden Boy team where they want to just put gold all around the green in Boston. That's really what this is. I don't give a shit about him getting Sixth Man of the Year. They fucking gave Defensive Player of the Year to Marcus Smart last year, and in some ways, he didn't really deserve that. So whatever. I would have picked Emmanuel Quickly or Norman Powell for Sixth Man of the Year. It's really just because Boston is like the NBA. They do sexual favors for the Celtics by giving them awards. It's what it feels like to me. It's like they very much are like their Golden Boy team that they want to prop up. Listen, it struck me the other day. Don't be surprised if they try and let the Celtics or make the Celtics win the championship in the year that Bill Russell passed. That we've had all these sixes all over our courts. And really, really, this is the year they want to honor him. And they'll make a big deal out of this and make a drama out of this. Watch. If the Celtics come close to winning the championship, they're going to make a big deal out of Bill Russell passing this year and the Celtics winning it the year that he died. That's the story that they're trying to write right now. And they would love the Lakers to be there to be playing them in the finals. But I don't think LeBron's team's going to have the legs to get through the West, to get all the way there. No, they won't. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Memphis plays better team ball when Ja is not on the court. This is true because in some ways they have to. They really have to carry the burden more equally among each other. So that's true in some ways. In some ways, that's like tell something to the GM of Memphis. Maybe they should trade Ja Morant and get some different pieces for him that may fit in that way. Daddy Gates is saying Nick Nurse is gone. The first shoe is dropped. What will be the next? Will we find out? Like, will we not even miss a beat? Is Masai going to come in and announce the new coach of the Raptors, like within 90 minutes of firing Nick Nurse? I love that. If he could turn around and say, I've already decided who we're hiring, and this is who we're hiring is Earl Watson, and he says that today, I'll be like, yes, Masai, because he's bringing somebody who's already in our system, is already familiar with the players, and they all like. That is why it's smart to hire from within. That is why they hired Nick Nurse from within, because there's no weird rock in the boat of a new personality coming in like Udoka. We don't know if he'd get along with Scotty and everybody. That's part of the thing that you worry about when you bring in a new coach that's not already on the staff. And that's why in some ways it's smart to hire either Adrian Griffin or Earl Watson as the replacement for Nick Nurse. Let's keep going. Wayne saying it was a hit job last night for the Sixers. Harden was the sacrifice for not tossing Embiid. Then Claxton was for the remedial effect. Jack Vaughn messed up by not double teaming Maxey on his spots. Good synopsis there, Wayne. Yeah, there seems like a little bit of retribution kind of calls. The Claxton thing does seem like it's kind of like we want to make it seem balanced. It's a very similar thing with like how they called the technical on Sabonis when he grabbed the leg. They don't want to seem like they're totally being biased one way or another. Some people are intimating that the refs have been biased towards the against the Warriors and their series. JJ Redick in particular saying stuff like that. It's ridiculous. Come on, these guys get so much favor because of their championship status and their dynasty status. And the Sacramento Kings really don't get much favor. Trust me. Being the team that doesn't get there that often, the refs are very much against the team that hasn't been there very often. So the Kings are winning that series despite the referees. Trust me. They're not winning it because the referees are helping them. They're probably winning it despite them, more likely. Let's see. Infamous is also saying, I think the Grizz should consider trading Ja for Jaylen Brown. Man, I don't care about this. You're an NBA fan. I'm a Raptors fan. I don't care about all this. I want Jaylen Brown here. I don't want him in Memphis. I don't care about this. I want Toronto stuff coming here. Yeah. But that is an interesting move. I don't know. Ja Moran on Boston. I don't know if I like that. Ahmet's saying, is anyone going to Global Jam this summer? I think that Monique will probably be there. There probably will be some people from this channel that are going down there. I'm not sure if I'll go myself. Trevor's saying, good morning. Finally, we're going to hear from front office today. Watching Philadelphia game last night, Joel falls so many times for a big, strong guy like that. I know. He's like a feather in the wind. The way he blows all over the place, like he really is. Like he's like a dirty newspaper on Young Street, getting blown down the street in front of Zanzibar. That's what he's like. He's just like that. Well, we know already, Trevor, Nick Nurse has been fired by Masai Ujiri, and he is not our coach anymore as of half an hour ago or so. So very interesting. Wayne saying, sorry to see Nick Nurse go, but it was inevitable. Welcome, Earl, on the way to the championship. We knew not everyone was coming. This is true. And, a new era, a new brain, a new person running things. We'll have to see how it goes. Cool Cat saying Cardi has a shiny coat. Looks very healthy. Scotty's baby is all grown up. Yeah, so happy to see pictures of Cardi. Scotty, maybe you should make Cardi her own Instagram page, and you could just do Cardi videos and stuff. I'm sure your fans will love like following the life of Cardi. Country Con saying Masai has some serious cojones. He delayed his postseason interview for nearly a week, and then he fires our coach an hour before he finally decides to talk to the media. What a big statement to make. Well, he does things with a splash. I think that he wanted to give Nick his week off and let him go and take his vacation before he fired him. And then he was like, yeah, I come back, see me in the morning, fires him this morning, and now he's going to make the big announcement today. He doesn't like coming in without answers. That's the thing about Masai. He didn't want to do this press conference without having the answers right away. Well, he gave the answer to the press before, so they don't even have to ask the question. And this is good. It doesn't waste time. In some ways, you don't want to call a meeting just to say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. You don't want to call a meeting. You're wasting everybody's time. That's why Masai's a smart businessman. He knows you've got to have the answers before you come to the meeting so that you can just talk about what's already happened instead of speculating and wasting everybody's time. So you go Masai Ujiri doing Masai Ujiri kind of things. That's right. Big statement. He's a power player. This is how he operates, Country Kong. Oh, yeah. David saying, Lex, please don't use the word Joel and smart in the same sentence. I don't even remember doing that. When did I do that? If I did that, I take it back. I retract it, David. I do. Shane saying, tomorrow's Share the Love Club better be for Nick. Respect to Nick. Good luck to him. This is necessary, though. I did a Share the Love Club for Nick last year, and it's very nice. So we won't be doing Nick Nurse Share the Love Club this summer. Unfortunately, we've shared the love for Nick last year. And that's really how I'm going to do it. I don't want to do multiple episodes for people. I don't want to do another Scotty Barnes Share the Love Club. I don't want to do all those unless it really, really warrants it for some crazy reason. Now, I can understand why you'd say Nick, but in some ways, we've already done it for him. And I don't want to do a rerun. I actually already figured out who we're doing the Share the Love Club for tomorrow. And I don't want to announce it yet. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But I'll put up something later. You'll see who it is then. But yeah, I will share love and talk glowingly about him and his history with us forever from now on. And, in some ways with him out, we have more of a chance to be nice and not so negative about him because he's not our coach anymore. And that's really what I want true Raptor fans, Raptor freaks, and people in Raptors Nation to really put respect on Nick's name because he is somebody important to our history. And he doesn't deserve us to sewer him and talk trash about him now that he's gone. Name was saying, welcome, Country City Kong. Country Kong's old school, baby. Country Kong has been around a bit. Country Kong was at Scotty's Twitch family last year, too. Sheer Khan saying that's right decision to let go of Nick Nurse. We have a talented core and promising prospects. Fans were all up in Nick Nurse's grill about not using the roster properly and minutes distribution. Wonder who we're going to get. Yeah, I'm all about that too. Uh, Kareem is saying Embiid is so depressed, but I have no sympathy for him. 2019 game winner, losing Jokic, beating him 2 years in a row for MVP, and the constant getting kicked out of the playoffs. He needs to see a shrink. Yeah, see, Kareem's just trying to give him some helpful advice. Maybe you can help him out. Let's see. Infamous is saying our new coach will be he may stroke you. G saying apparently Udoka is a strong candidate for the Raptors and Nurse is a strong candidate for Houston. Well, I think it's almost a done deal that Nick Nurse will be coaching the Houston Rockets this year. I want to see him there and not with the Lakers. I definitely don't want to see him with Boston or any Atlantic Division team. So we'll have to see how Nick Nurse exactly where he lands. We know he'll be coaching another team next year for sure. And hopefully it'll just be the Houston Rockets. The Rockets Nation will get what they want, and they'll see that it's not going to help them anyway. Let's see. G saying apparently Udoka is a strong. Oh, yeah, I just read that one. Click saying, guys, it seems like it's not just Nick. We're reconstructing the entire coaching staff. Adrian Griffin may get picked up as a head coach. Nate and Earl and Trevor might be gone. We interviewed new assistants. Wow. All right, I'm gonna have to get done with this so we can listen to what he's saying. All right, hang on. I want to read all your comments. Don't write any more new comments, and we're gonna get done. And then I gotta do the ref report still. Fiercely saying, I mean, to each their own. Scotty was in the off season enjoying twitching and gaming, but also during the Rico runs, we didn't see OG practice at all. He enjoyed reading and walking. OG was there slightly. He was there for a couple of days. He did play at Rico Hines, very little, but we barely saw him. Name was saying 21 gun salute for Nick Nurse. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't like the gravestone, though. He's not dead. David's saying, well, bittersweet, but I do think it was time for something to change. That pregame interview before this Philly game kind of sealed the deal. It did. It really did. It's like, Nick, when you did that, you sealed your deal, your fate. That's just what it is. Infamous saying, I'm surprised they used the word fired instead of resigned. I think he is due that respect. Well, I have to see the wordage. Is it really saying fired? Yeah, fired. They're saying fired. At least Sham said fired. I don't know. Well, it may be, this term doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. He's not resigning. We're firing him. G saying there are some Masai quotes out there already about firing Nurse. All right, we're going to have to go look at them. Daddy Gates saying, I'd rather Earl Watson than MA. MA is just a name, and because he was in the limelight with that controversy, that's the only reason people want him here. Watson's a better choice. I'm totally with you, Daddy, on that. Isaac saying Nick Nurse is still the head coach of Team Canada and our hearts. That's a good point to point out. He's still going to coach Team Canada, apparently. Now, he may not coach very much after this cycle in the Olympics, but at least he should fulfill his duties at least for the next year or so. Nameless saying, there you go, Nick. Take all the time you need to contemplate your future now. Bam. Nameless. Smooth saying, thank you for being the coach of our 2019 chip team, but this was a move that needed to be made. Thank you. That's right. We're gonna celebrate and love you, Nick, forever. The first coach of our first championship is always going to be special and important. Skater Dylan saying, wow, bombshell this morning. Hearing the Udoka Raptors news, watch out, front office. Oh, you're saying that you hear that the Udoka's already here, Skater Dylan? That's Boston fan. Are you hearing something already that your former coach is going to be our coach already? We'll have to see. Space Cadet saying, well, at least now we know what the internal struggles were or the locker room issues. Don't think it was the players. It was really the system. It's not even that there were issues like with people not liking each other. It's just that Nick's system does not work in today's NBA with what he was doing. It just didn't work. That overplaying on defense in a league that has no defense anymore is folly. You can't play that all out on defense and get such bad results for working so hard and not see good results. That's not the way it's going to – you can't do that. G saying apparently his firing had most to do with his press conference that he did, not even speaking to management about his plans first. Boom, there you go. I knew he was rogue and out of bounds when he did that. And I was like, why'd you do this, Nick? And now we see that there were repercussions and things that happened from it. M. Jones is saying, what's up, Lex and freaks? All respect to Nurse, but I believe it was mainly Nurse's failure to adapt after the chip is mainly what set up for this firing. Should have known better, take care, and thanks. Thank you, M. Jones, for popping in with your 2 cents. And yeah, I can't disagree with any of this. I think that's a pretty astute comment. As far as like he just didn't adapt to how our team had to change over, very much was changing very quickly over the last 5 years since the championship year. So Daddy Gates is saying, since everyone, not me, is so adamant on moving on from Fred, how about a sign and trade with Orlando since they want him so much? Ironically, Suggs is a good fit for this developing young team. No. So we get Jalen Suggs and Scotty Barnes, and then like we'll just have like that whole summer of controversy about our pick at number 4 will just be like rectified because we bring Suggs here. That's kind of a funny notion. Nah, we still don't want to move on from Fred. We need to keep Fred. Seriously, if we're losing Nick, listen, I got that thing over there with all the champions in that picture. We just lost a coach that's in that picture now. So the only two people on that picture from the championship year are Pascal and Fred at this point. So I'm really highly valuing Fred, even more so after Nick getting fired. So no, he ain't going nowhere. Monique saying thank you to Nick Nurse. Much respect from the super fan to our coach. David saying no, Jalen Suggs doesn't want to be in Toronto. We don't want him here anyway either. Fiercely saying maybe Malachi will get another chance to prove his worth. Looking forward to seeing how he develops now. If it doesn't work, we'll definitely know Nurse wasn't the issue. Yeah, we've got the control group, and now we can take him out of the picture and we can see, well, if Malachi doesn't do better now, or what happens if he does have a future with us still, then we know Nick Nurse was holding him back and Eric Flynn was right all along. Shir Khan saying, great stream. Masai Press is going to be good. What time is it again? I really hope there are some wholesale changes to the roster as well to bolster the core. Fred and Gary are the big question marks for sure. Well, in about 25 minutes, Shir Khan, live, Masai Ujiri press conference to explain the Nick Nurse firing just now. All right, real quick, let me just do real quick the referees for tonight. Since we do have games tonight and I have the ref crews in Boston and Atlanta game, the third game in Atlanta, Scott Foster is the crew chief. Pat Frere and Mitchell Irvin are the two refs underneath them. All three of the refs favor the Boston Celtics today. So the visiting team is favored in Atlanta today. In New York, the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks, game 3, Josh Tiven is the crew chief, Courtney Kirkland is the ref, and Justin Van Dyne is the umpire. This crew worked together their last game. So they're very much a combination of three guys that like to work together, apparently. Well, all three of them favor the Cavaliers. So another 3-person crew for referees that favors the visiting team in the third game, Cleveland at New York. The last game is Denver at Minnesota. Zach Zarba is the crew chief. James Williams and Eric Dalen are the two refs, and they all favor the Denver Nuggets. So all 3 games tonight, all 3 refs in all 3 games favor the visiting team. So we'll have to see if that's the way it goes. I'm pretty sure Boston and Denver should be pretty successful against Atlanta and Minnesota. Now, the Cleveland and New York thing could be very interesting because New York will have home advantage, and that crowd is pretty crazy. But, you know, if the refs want to help Cleveland get a step up on New York, they're going to have to give them the 2-1 edge. So we'll have to see. I'm going to predict that all 3 visiting teams are winning today. That the Knicks fans will be let down in Madison Square Garden tonight because the refs are going to help the Cavs get the lead in that series. So there you go. My predictions for Boston, Cleveland, and Denver to win tonight. Just going by the refs and stuff. W Stream Lex says, go always. Thank you, Monique. And David's saying, where can we watch this interview with Masai? On YouTube. Usually it'll be on streaming live on the Toronto Raptors channel. So it should be live on there. So you should be able to see it there. Monique is saying, yeah, everywhere. It'll be everywhere. It'll be in your brain. It'll be on your wall in a picture screen. All right, since there's about 20 minutes before, I'm going to wrap up so you guys can have a little bit of time between me and Masai and the interesting stuff that's going on. Breaking news today, Nick Nurse fired by the Raptors this morning as the head coach. Yeah, it's a bittersweet moment. It's tough. It's a very tough moment. Now, remember, get your Masai Ujiri press conference bingo card on Twitter. Just look it up, print it out, and, you know, if you get bingo, call it out, and nobody will hear you. And they'll be like, oh, why is that guy yelling bingo over there? Really crazy. Nick Nurse fired. Bam. That is crazy. Let me see. Like, maybe I can see some of the comments that you guys are alluding to that they've heard already about what's happened here. Everybody's just posting it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we're just going to have to get used to this happening. This has happened. And now we move on as a franchise with a new leadership. Yeah. Let's see. David saying RHJ getting interviewed too. Ron Harper Jr.? I don't know. Maybe. Jason saying Fred might be gone too. Well, we don't know about that. We know, listen, this is the one thing I'll say. Fred Van Vliet in his exit interview called Masai Ujiri MU. I don't know how many people are calling Masai Ujiri MU. And he's really like familiar with him. So they directly talk to each other all the time. So it's not like Fred is a normal player on the Raptors. He's very much like management slash coach slash player on our team. So in some ways, he's a little more ensconced in our team than people realize. And he's not wanting to move his three young children to Orlando or anywhere else. Trust me, they're going to figure out a way to keep Fred on this team. He's going to be on this team still. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please, if you like this channel, the breaking news that we had on it today, the Shams bomb, the Woj bomb, that Nick Nurse has been fired as our coach. It's a big deal. We're always giving you the latest up to date Raptors news from day to day. Did you know about Scotty having his dog Cardi on the plane going to Florida yesterday? No, probably not. Maybe, but you can find out all the news about what's going on with the Raptors here without having to go search it all out. We have it here for you every single day, all summer long. So if you're not really paying attention to the Raptors and there's stuff that you're not seeing, you can come here and you'll find out everything that's going on with them. We keep you very much up to date on all Raptors topics day to day. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. And like I said, please subscribe if you can subscribe. If you're not subscribed to this channel and you're watching me regularly, please just hit that subscribe button. It will help me in a lot of different ways. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with people getting recommended to my channel. All kinds of different ways it can help me. So please subscribe if you can. If you haven't already. All right, y'all, let's go watch this press conference and let's go Raptors. We believe in you, Masai. We trust in Masai. That is the number one tenement of the Raptor Freak cult. We trust in Masai. So we trust that this decision today was not made brashly. And this is the smart decision for the future of the Toronto Raptors franchise going forward. All right, let's go watch Masai, guys, and have a great Friday. I'll be back tomorrow. Share the Love Club. And I'll tell you who the subject of the Share the Love Club is tomorrow or later today when you see it get posted. All right, guys, have a great Friday, and let's go listen to Masai and see exactly what he has to say. You go, Masai Ujiri. We love you. Trust in Masai, baby, as always. And let's go Raptors.